Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is January the 9th, 2023, and today the topic is Favor Isn't Fair. Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope that you all had a great weekend. Mine was just fine. What happened over the weekend? Well, Saturday was pretty chill. I don't necessarily even remember anything of significance. What did I do? I really don't remember anything, y'all. Oh, well, while I try to figure out Saturday, in regards to Sunday, there was a lot that happened yesterday. So yeah, well, y'all know I went to church, so that was one thing. To God be the glory. Ever since that summer Sunday challenge, man, your girl's been on it, man, trying to go and get a word and get replenished, and in that it did replenish my soul. Um, I ended up going to a later service yesterday because, um, because I needed to attend the training for the small groups, right? I told you all a few days ago or weeks ago that I'm looking to start a small group or two um, in this next upcoming season. And so I guess like training or workshop or whatever the case is, was yesterday. So that's why I went to the later service. And yeah, it just was really, really good. I can say like, ah, I mean, I feel like I've shared this before, but here I am sharing it again. Like, just a lot of times the messages and things that I have been receiving at Mountain West have been just either right on time or they've been confirmation to things that like the Lord has put on my heart and mind. And so if you have not found a church home, friends, I pray that you guys can find one that will feed your soul, especially as, we embark on how to um, do whatever it is that the Lord has called us to do. So yeah. So with that being said, the worship, I enjoyed the worship. Good morning to my cousin catching me live. um, yeah, the worship, I felt God's presence in that, the different announcements and things. Apparently it was the 1 year anniversary of the new pastor there and everything like that. So congratulations to him, his Pastor Mo and his family and whatnot. So the church kind of acknowledged that yesterday. Um, the message was good. The message was right on time. I had the notes somewhere. I don't know if these are the notes from yesterday or not. Was these the notes? I think so. Yeah, the topic this, I guess, how how they come up with different topics and whatnot. So he's teaching on like God to thrive. And we're in week 2 of that, and so not just to survive but to thrive. So yeah, that's like I said, been right on time hearing the messages and hearing what he's had to say about that. And then, like I said, I sat in the training for the small groups, and I just really, I don't know if at some point I was like overwhelmed with emotion because I just really was feeling like, man, I'm here, right place, right time. I feel like I'm in alignment with what the Lord wants me to do. And in the midst of that, I feel like God was kind of just showing me, or maybe even giving me a glimpse of what the future could be and the significance of me being there and all those different things. And um, so I was just, overwhelmed with gratitude, overwhelmed with, emotion to think like, man, Lord, you using my journey, you use, you know, this what you've done in my life, the juice and everything like that. He's using these different things um to reach the next person, right? And I'm excited, right? I'm excited about it. I'm obviously, passionate about it and everything like that. But it just was very interesting. So I share all of this to tell you all that basically, I just noticed alongside of the joy and alongside of the, excitement and the humbleness and just all those different things that I was feeling, I also noticed a little bit of persecution or doubt or fear or um, little things that try to get in the way of the joy, try to get in the way of what God is doing with me and for me and through me. And so those things are ultimately the inspiration for today's topic. I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of confirmed it. I did wake up at like 2:12 or something like that. And so there was a verse that I came across that kind of confirmed that. I listened to prayer meditation this morning as well that kind of got me thinking about these things as well. And it ultimately, this quote, favor isn't fair, came into my mind as I was reflecting. And I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it, X, Y, and Z. And so, yeah, these are the things that leads to why I'm talking about this on today. Now, the interesting thing is when I looked up favor isn't fair, at this point, I can't say that that is a biblical phrase. I looked at openbible.info and it promptly let me know that there were no verses associated with that phrase. And yeah, so I mean, it alongside of, I'm sure, a lot of phrases that we live and go by and quotes and things like that, people, things that people think is Bible, may not be. So you might need to go deeper, right? You might need to do your little research and everything like that. But even though this may not be a biblical quote or a biblical phrase, favor isn't fair. I can totally understand it though. And I can understand like why Christians use the phrase and everything like that. And I mean, just because again, a quote isn't biblical doesn't mean that you can't like get something from it. Can we put that on the table? Okay. So yeah, so even though this isn't a quote unquote biblical quote, at least from my search this morning. Now, if y'all can find it in there, by all means, correct me and I can go tell openbible.info, hey, y'all wrong, it's in there. But according to that quick search was not in there. And so, yeah. But like I said, I can totally understand it. And so let's chit chat about it and let's get deeper about this concept of favor not being fair. So let me give y'all some examples of some of the stuff I encountered. Well, actually, I was kind of reflecting. So this morning I told you I woke up at like 2:12, right? And ever since then, like I looked up the Bible verses and then I didn't necessarily go back to sleep. I just, maybe I got to work, man. I started to see like messages that I had missed. I started to see, just different things, just scrolling on social media, all kinds of things. And at some point I ended up taking a look at this video I did, had to be like 12 years ago. That's what YouTube is saying, it's 12 years ago. And I ended up sharing it on my social media and things like that, because I was reminded of a question that I was asked last week or the week before last. And basically someone felt the need to ask me, what makes me qualified to do what I'm doing, and why should people listen to me, and everything like that. And maybe that was to make me think deeper about a lot of different things, and that's okay. That's okay to think deeper. But I feel like sometimes maybe people knowingly and unknowingly say things, and you have to really, again, like the Bible tells us, to test the spirits, right? And see like what is the purpose of the questions, or, what kind of fruit is coming from different things, whether it's the things that we say, do, any of that, right? So, although, yes, I did end up thinking deeper about that and try to, answer those questions for myself. At the same time, I did have to kind of wonder like, where did that come from? And why did that come my way? And everything like that. And so as I saw that video of me 12 years ago explaining why I was about to embark on a journey, having no clue that it was going to be leading to what I'm doing today. But I mean, I feel like that explains everything of like why you all now see this, what we call GSL. Again, I was Christian, and single and all that at that time, but still, I feel like it, the message hasn't changed. The I guess ministry or whatever the case is, however you want to look at it, hasn't changed. It's the same thing to me. Creating a space to be open and honest and have conversations about everything, including God, sex, and love. And then ultimately, yes, I share my testimony. I put myself out there as, I guess, quote unquote, the face of this movement. But ultimately, like, I feel like it's a God-led thing. Like, at the end of the day, I don't think it has much to do with me, I think it's more so like what God did or what God used and what he has done in my life. Right. I mean, so on one hand, it's like, I don't know if that makes me qualified. Right. I don't know if that makes, anybody want to listen to me more or not. But I believe that, God will use whoever is willing. I'm not saying that I'm the first person that the Lord done put this movement on their heart and mind, but maybe I'm one of the first to actually do what I'm doing. Now, I don't think, again, I'm the first to, because, there's plenty of content and Christian people that are tackling this subject of sex and everything like that. And again, I'm not necessarily only tackling the subject of sex. My whole thing is like, I just wanted to include it, and be intentional about the sex portion. But really, for me, it's about Christian content in general. And I think that the channel reflects that and everything like that. But why am I telling y'all all this? Well, yeah, that's what you may be wondering. Well, I guess as I reflect on, again, that information or that question from a few weeks ago, and then as I reflect on like some feedback I was getting yesterday, people were asking me like, oh, well, what are you doing in your group and your small group? And then I just happened to be possibly embarking on doing 2 groups. And I was trying to explain that or whatnot in the quickest way possible. I know this one person was like, oh, well, you need to understand that everybody's not where you are now and blah, blah, blah. So I guess basically, like, if you're going to do that Bible study small group, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I get it. I totally understand. It's solid advice. I'm not saying that it's, complete persecution or something. But what I'm saying is that, like, it's just very interesting when people come for your passion. You know what I mean? When they come for your passion, when they come for the thing that God is put in you. Because, like, for example, when I think about this journey of doing the juice and I share about it, obviously it comes from a place of like hoping to encourage and inspire the next person. I never want to be like, oh, I'm boasting about, oh yes, and I don't know if I've come across that way, and I don't mean to. So when I say I've been doing this ever since April 1st, 2020, for me, it's just to solidify that, hey, this is something that God has changed my life, and he's allowed me to be doing this since this length of time. It's not like only a little bit of time. Like he's allowed me to get up every morning and Bible study something since April 1st, 2020, just about every day, with the exception of a few days, and to me, that's huge. To me, that's not only a huge personal accomplishment, just because I've been documenting it as well. So then that way, it kind of keeps track of what the Lord is doing. But again, what I'm hoping it does is encourage and inspire whoever's listening to the sound of my voice, and help you understand that you can do it too, and that's what I would like the small group to do as well. Like, if there's any other people that are willing to take this journey and just commit 30 days. I made the journals for 30 days, but hopefully you do it more than that, just embark on the journey and see what the Lord shows you in the midst of it. That's my whole thing. So it has me thinking about this upcoming group. Does it have me doubting and have me in a place where, oh, I don't think I'm going to do it? No, I think I'm going to move forward and do it regardless. And we'll see who signs up and everything like that. But the thing I loved about the training that I was in yesterday, it just was showing me that, like, the gentleman that kind of broke down some different things and stuff like that, he kind of said at one point, he's like, basically the church had been praying for the small group people, the people that were there in the training. They were like, they had been praying for you guys like months ago, and everything like that. And so for me to be there, I just really felt, like I said in the beginning, right place, right time. I felt like, and as they were talking about, they were like, because then you guys are leaders of leaders, and that, basically your group or whatever the case is could be, obviously inspiring the next person. And that literally was me. That was literally me, because I was in a small group. I told y'all that a few months ago. I was in a small group called Financial Fitness. And here I am about to embark on leading my own small group now. And so all of that was just really a beautiful moment for me. But then at the same time, after that moment, it just was like getting those questions or getting that, like, those side looks when I was saying, well, I think I might be doing 2 small groups and stuff like that. I guess it kind of just, I guess it just was an example to me, like, I guess how favor isn't fair. You know what I mean? Because on one hand, people might be looking at me like, who does she think she is? She ain't even led one group yet, and she about to start off by leading 2. I don't know how they was looking, but it felt that way. You know what I'm saying? And it just was like, well, I don't know. All I know is I had ideas. I talked to the one guy that seems to be in charge of the whole thing, and he seemed to like 2 of my ideas, and seemed to find a way for me to be able to do it. And so I don't know why everyone else might have started with 1, but the Lord has allowed me to possibly start with 2. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe a person in my group later on in the future might start with 3 small groups at one time. You see what I'm saying? Like, and I guess maybe this favor and stuff has been on my life the whole time, because I also remember, like, back in college, somehow the Lord showed favor on me to be able to come on RA when I was a freshman in college. So I came in, living on campus for the first time. Here I am in RA. Favor, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, again, that was through my cousin and whatnot and things like that. Different things led up to that. But what I'm saying is favor. And so therefore, there's the topic, y'all. Favor isn't fair. I know I done talked a long time about this, but I guess I just want to encourage and inspire the next person, right? Whoever the next leader is, right? The leader, if I'm going to be coaching leaders or whatever the case is, then whoever the next leader is, I just want y'all to know that, just upfront, understand that favor isn't fair, and people may not fully understand your calling. They might not understand your purpose or what God has put in you, and why it looks the way it does, and why things are going the way it is for you. So that's my testimony in regards to it. But let's see what Bob got to say. Let's see what Bob got to say. Sorry it took so long, but I just wanted to let y'all know that. So here's a verse that I felt led to share, and this is the verse I felt led to share first, and it's 2 Timothy 3:12. It says, "Indeed, all who desires to live a godly life in Christ Jesus will be persecuted." Okay, before anything else, let's just go ahead and put that on the table and acknowledge that if you're gonna follow Christ, expect persecution. And is that fair? To think, man, Lord, I'm trying to follow you. I'm trying to do the right thing. And now I'm just putting myself in the midst of persecution. Who wants to do that? That doesn't sound like a fair statement, right? But that, the Bible tells us this repeatedly. And so I just think that we should just go into it understanding that persecution is going to come one way or another. And it might look like a fellow believer trying to call you out, or it might look like an unbeliever trying to call you out. Whatever the case is, just understand that it's gonna come, and just pray that you stay strong and everything in the midst of it. That's all I can say. So let's keep going, y'all. So here we go. So Micah 6:8, it says, "He hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God." So this is what the prayer meditation that I listened to was about this morning, kind of reflecting on that verse. And but I noticed it was really, really reiterating this concept of walking humbly with God, and everything like that. Now, I don't know if I came across as boasting. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I came across like, as I share my testimony, I don't know if I'm coming across like, oh, you think you know everything. Like, and I feel like I'm always on here saying like, hey, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. I'm just sitting here studying, Um, but I mean, hey, y'all, I'm just telling y'all the verses stood out to me this morning. And if anybody is wondering about their purpose, ultimately, the reason why I share this verse is because the main thing that I was receiving today is that all of our purpose is centered around this concept of, doing justice, loving mercy, and walking humbly with God. So there you go. This also makes me think about the sermon from yesterday as well. Well, yesterday and last Sunday, because basically it's been talking about like the Lord is my shepherd and everything like that, just doing a deep dive into Psalm 23 and everything. But the Lord wants to be our shepherd, right? The Lord wants to lead and guide us and wants us. I know yesterday the pastor was saying that ultimately God really wants us just partnering with him on every aspect of our life. And so again, as we do that, it's an exciting thing, it can be an exciting thing. And like I said, I'm just sharing full of joy, and sharing my testimony and things like that. Now, again, maybe people see that as boasting. Maybe people see like, oh, I'm trying to puff myself up, instead of acknowledging that, no, at least for me, I try my best to focus on the Lord. But let's go deeper. Let's go deeper and see what these verses got to say. So Philippians 2:12 and 13, it says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. What really stood out to me the most in this verse this morning? Well, one, like I told you, I woke up at 2:12, and this is one of the verses that I came across when I looked up Bible 2:12. But I felt led to write down both 12 and 13. But what really stood out the most was the part saying, to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and for it is God which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. At the end of the day, this is God working. This is God moving. This is like, I mean, yeah, y'all might see me, right? But ultimately, as I share my testimony and as I even see myself, like what God has done in my life, this is all God at work. And so, I mean, I know I on the post that I shared the video from 12 years ago, I was like, ultimately, if people got any questions beyond what I've already answered by sharing that video and by what I already talk about every day, then y'all need to go to God about why he got me doing what I'm doing. If you really want to know, you know what I'm saying? Because really, it's this is his story that I'm just living out. Like, he's the author and I'm just like the protagonist or whatever, however you want to look at it. He's the painter and I'm the paint or something, like, or maybe just the canvas, really. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the Lord is doing a work and we can't allow things to get in the way of that work, not even ourselves. Which ultimately a lot of times we do. We get in our own way of what the Lord wants to do in our lives. But that's just something to remember. But anyway, I'm gonna keep going. So then 1 Corinthians 1 and 31, it says, so that as it is written, let the one who boast in the Lord. So I mean, let me just read this next one too. Jeremiah 9 and 24 says, but let him who boast in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord, who practices steadfast love, justice, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, declares the Lord. So ultimately, like, I would hope that, again, people would see that in the content and anything that I share, even as I share my testimony. Like, I try my best to not be puffing up myself. I try my best to always just pretty much share what the Lord has done. Now, again, I don't know how that come across to people. and stuff. And I know, you hear all these things like, oh, be careful about who you tell your visions to, or, oh, X, Y, and Z. But I'm like, well, I guess, we just got to find balance. We just got to find balance with all of that. Because at the end of the day, like, there's power in our testimonies, right? There's power in sharing what the Lord has done and what he is doing. So there is something that is trying to stop that as well. And so because of that, it's like, let's not, be afraid to share what the Lord is doing. Because, if we take the credit on ourselves, then again, we're taking away from, again, the Lord and stuff. And so, just something to think about, y'all. We just got to find balance. I mean, we got to, I guess, figure out our audience and stuff like that. I mean, to me, I guess when you're meeting new people and they literally ask you a question and you literally answer the question, like, I don't know why it has to be this deep, but I mean, just keep in the back of your mind that at the end of the day, sometimes people may knowingly and unknowingly say things that may trigger or whatever, again, they might trigger doubt, fear, and all that stuff in what the Lord is doing. But I guess I just got to keep referring to the joy and the peace and the excitement that I felt initially before I received whatever feedback, you know what I'm saying? Before I received like whatever questions or whatever side looks or whatever misunderstanding or whatever the case is. Like, yeah. So let me keep going because I only got maybe like a couple more verses, y'all. Acts 10:34 says, so Peter opened his mouth and said, truly, I understand that God shows no partiality. So friends, again, ultimately, on one hand, favor ain't fair. You know what I mean? And it feels like, wow, sometimes you be like, why me, Lord, and everything. But on the flip side, hey, ultimately the Lord will and can do this for everybody. It's just that everybody doesn't answer the call and everybody isn't willing to walk in what he's created for them to do. And I can't do nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody can do anything for anybody else. Like everybody, again, like the other verse says, have to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. So rather than questioning somebody else's call, why don't you figure out what your call is? You know what I mean? Or have you answered your call? It just throwing it out there, y'all. No judgment or whatever the case is. Obviously, it took me a while to answer my call. I'm not saying trying to point no fingers, but what I'm saying is that God doesn't show partiality. Like what he's done for me, he can do for you, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person. It's just, are you going to answer the call? Are you going to be willing to do what it is he wants you to do? But anyway, one more verse, y'all, I think. 1 Corinthians 1:26, it says, for something, you're calling, brothers. Not many of you were wise according to worldly standards. Not many were powerful. Not many were of noble birth. So, I don't know if that word was counter or something like that. Y'all can look and see what that exact word is. But basically, this verse is just letting us know that, at the end of the day, I know there's a phrase to say God would qualify the called. Maybe somebody might feel like I'm not qualified to talk about the things I'm talking about, to do what I'm doing, to have 2 small groups, whatever. You know what I mean? I might not be qualified in human eyes, but the Lord, if the Lord qualifies you, then all of that doesn't really matter. And I know that verse even goes deeper to start talking about, like, that the Lord will use the foolish things to confound the wise and everything like that. It might not make sense for this little lady from Jackson, Georgia to be now about to do all of this or now doing all of this and all that. But, ultimately that's the juice this morning. I just want y'all to be encouraged and inspired by this whole conversation about favor not being fair and how to walk in that regardless and stuff like that. You guys can go deeper, plenty of verses in the go deeper section to peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. But the Bible verse of today is Acts 3:14. It says, repent ye therefore and be converted that your sins may be blotted out when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Thank you all so much for listening, watching, subscribing, sharing. I hear that we got 350 subscribers. So yay! Thank and praise God for each and every person that has decided to subscribe and share and all that good stuff. Shout out to my cousin for tuning in and also giving me this blessing here. He says you come across genuine, humble, and encouraging, and I thank you, because I hope and pray so. I didn't necessarily feel that way. I didn't necessarily feel that way or whatever. As I was trying to explain again these ideas and concepts that the Lord has given me in regards to these small groups and all this different type of stuff, but we're gonna see what the Lord will do with everything. It's ultimately, up to, again, people to sign up for it and all these different things. I'm gonna just pray that whoever joins the group and whoever continue watching the show, whatever the case is, y'all. He said, thank God it's not about feelings. You're right. You just gotta encourage ourselves sometimes and stuff like that too. And so yeah, I'm not gonna get discouraged by the different attacks, right? The persecution that comes. Saying we got to just welcome in and understand that the biblical figures walk through worse situations than just having some people look at you sideways about what you're doing. Literally they was being stoned and all kinds of things for Christ. So the least I can do is keep walking and moving forward with what God has given me. And so yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Yeah, like I said, I hope you all are encouraged and inspired overall. Cause like I said, you can call me anytime now. Call me anytime. Cause we got to get you your gift. Cause I don't want you to be like, oh, just one of them things where somebody win a gift and then they don't ever get it. So we'll do. But yeah, again, for those that are out there, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, if you feel like, the Lord has called you to any type of leadership position and, you want to embark on your journey or whatever the case is, like, don't get discouraged, try to stay encouraged and keep on going, keep on being consistent and just see the Lord move. And like I said, that's all I've been doing. I've been seeing the Lord move in so many different ways. And like I said, it's exciting sometimes, it's exciting and you're just like, well, what's next? Like, so, and some people may get it and some people don't. Like, for example, so I don't know if cuz, but let me just put it out here. Over the weekend, y'all may have seen that we announced that we have a new show coming. And it is called Biblical Sex 101. All right. I'm partnering with the Christian Sexpert, and her name is Miss Angela, and she will be teaching your girl a thing or two, and I guess y'all too, right? And I don't even know what all she's gonna be teaching. I have no clue. So that's one thing, but we announced that over the weekend that show is coming soon. It's supposed to be every fourth Thursday of the month. So the first one should be on the 26th, I think. And I see that not many people have responded, but some have liked it or some have, said something about it. But there was one lady in particular in one of the groups that said that, this topic isn't usually tackled, and so that she'll be tuning in. And so, to God be the glory, I truly appreciate people that get it, people that support, get it, and understand the need for this content. Again, I'm not trying to be out here like, oh, yes, this is all I'm going to talk about every day, but at the same time, too, we as Christians need to have these conversations and stuff. And so she's going to teach. The Christian Sexpert is going to teach. I don't know what she's going to teach, but she's going to teach us something. And so that show is coming soon. And hopefully more shows coming soon this year, more different shows and concepts and things like that. So you girls gonna be working. And look, my family got me excited, man. Y'all know that we got the the Cast movie that's being edited right now. Hopefully it'll be coming soon. Maybe this year, hopefully. We'll see what the Lord do. But in the meantime, like I've been sharing with you, that I want to start working on another movie. And I'm actually like getting dates together and stuff, and like, looking for locations and all stuff like that. So we're gonna see what the Lord do with all this, y'all. But I'm excited. But in the meantime, y'all can check out thecastmovie.com and see what's going on with that particular project and everything like that. We made some upgrades to actressmiraclesims.com as well, hopefully to make things a little bit easier to access. So some of the shows are, actually have their own buttons now. So you can access the daily inspiration at actressmiraclesims.com. You can access the talk show at actressmiraclesims.com. So just everything. So we're trying to, make some moves that'll make things better and everything. If y'all, and hey, y'all, like I said, I welcome feedback. By all means, don't make this, don't feel like, oh, she don't want to get feedback. I welcome feedback, I guess my thing is just like, but understand that I'm going to do like the Bible say. I'm going to test the spirit of your feedback. And that's it. You know what I mean? If your feedback is coming with a little bit of, antichrist spirit, then I'm gonna have to acknowledge that, but if your feedback is coming with the love of Christ and all that, then okay, I don't have no problem with that. And so anyway, so here to talk all day to y'all. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow if the Lord's will. And that's all I got to say about that. Bye.